Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for one of my favorite segments. This is called Student of Starcraft. What do we do in Student of Starcraft? We study the game using pencil and pen. This is a Twitch pen. This pen is actually a legendary item because I reapplied for my passport because it was expired, and I used this pen, but the ink is purple, and my application was rejected because they only accept blue and black ink. I felt really dumb. Anyway, let's go over some Reynor versus Zest. ZVP right now, let's just be honest, it's fucked. It's the matchup that people complain about the most. They did a funny meme interviewing the players at IEM Katowice, which is like the grand finals for the year. And they asked everyone what is the most overpowered. And everyone except for some Protosses said Protoss is overpowered. So maybe it's overpowered, maybe it's not. But Reynor won the whole thing. So he must know something about how this works. So let's just take it all the way through these 6 games. Zest is no slouch. Some people might even say he's a particularly good Protoss player. Oxide is a tricky map too. Since we have a strong Zerg bias here, let's just take Reynor's vision and try to think through what he's seeing and what he's doing, how he's reacting to stuff. One of the things that Reynor does is he's happy as a clam, warming up for the games, listening to Italian rap and stuff, and he's kind of singing and rapping to himself. That's his good mindset for having confidence, having fun. I think having fun and not taking yourself too seriously when you're performing is really cool. And just getting into a can-do attitude goes a really long way. So he's sending his drone down at around 145 minerals. He's sending it forward, and then he sends it right to the third. This is something that we'll probably see him do in many of the other games. The reason he sends it that early is so he can get his drone over here when he has 300 minerals and 17 supply. Let's see if that lines up. Perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna be diligent here. I already know about this thing, but it's good to remind yourself, because if you're really tired, if you're playing C game, sometimes you forget the small details, and that's one that I do forget sometimes. So let's just get some notes going here. ZVP, Reynor versus Zest. And the first thing that we see is send drone to Nat at 145 minerals. Cool. And the reason you do that is to have a sort of counterplay to anticipate this probe block. The probe block is really easy to do for Protoss. They don't really sacrifice very much to make it happen. And it sets the Zerg really off balance, because you have to take your second base over here, which is your third. Then you have to take this base over here. Setting up your cameras and everything, it can be kind of awkward. So he sends the drone down at 145. Then I would guess he goes 18 gas, 17 pool. Kind of normal. What are his overlords doing? First overlord's going across the map. Second overlord is going over the natural, heading kind of toward the third. I'm looking at the mini map now. More drones coming up. He'll probably rally these into the gas. Zest is doing some fancy probe stuff. At most levels of play, this kind of thing doesn't really matter. It's a bit of a mini game, you could say, in the early game. Reynor's just spam clicking whichever drone is being disrupted by the probe. Will he go for, yep, 20 overlord? So far, this is what I'm doing. Queen in the main. The third will be done a little bit after. Queen at the third. And he's making all drones. He didn't make lings as soon as the pool was done. That's different. He is going for 4 lings though. Okay, that's something that I'm not doing. So when pool finishes, we'll say at 100% pool. 2 queens, 2 drones, then 4 lings. That's a way of just squeezing out a little bit more mineral income. These drones are going to be mining a little bit earlier, and there is a sacrifice with this build. Whenever they send the probes super early to block, they're not going to be able to hit you quite as fast because they're sacrificing early mining time. So that means that their overall strength is weakened so that they can cause you to expand somewhere different. So Reynor says that. Oh, he sees that and he says, okay, fine. I'll just make 2 more drones before I make my 4 lings. Maybe he does that all the time though. We'll see. Does he go for a 30 supply third base? He's got his overlord chilling at the natural. He's not even putting it on a pedestal. If there was a stalker, he would have enough time to get it here. So he's just sitting at the natural wall. Could write that down. Keep first overlord at natural wall. Of Protoss. In case that wasn't clear. And he's going for a 32 base. Did he double inject? Wasn't looking. He did inject the main, creep the third. And then he made another queen at the third. What's the timing of this overlord? It's about 34. Overlord. Ling speed. The inject from the main hits. Makes another overlord and all drones. So that was a 40 overlord. Still making drones, making another queen. Anytime he floats minerals, he makes queen. He's got a 46 overlord too. And the void ray killed his overlord. And he's going Evo. Evo at about 3 minutes 40. Is that for ranged or melee? We'll find out. He's spending his excess minerals into queens. Still droning. He's only made 4 lings this entire time. He still has them. This is worth noting. Once he sees Void Ray, he pulls the overlords back. Pull overlords back. Normally, if you're against Twilight and stuff, you want to create a ring of vision with your overlords. So maybe you have one here, one here, one here, and one here. Against Oracle, it's really nice because you can see where the Oracle is zooming in and get your queens in position to block. But if you do that against Void Rays, they're just going to kill all your overlords. He isn't directly replacing his dead overlords. He's just making enough to get out of supply block. Is that significant? I would say that's an example of him cutting it as close as you possibly can, which for myself and most players who would study his games, that might not be the kind of thing that you want to emulate. Unless you get it perfect. Because we as mortal players are more likely to mess up our overlord timings. So to have a little bit more supply is usually better than having less. He just made 3 overlords. I feel like that was a significant play. Did he do that to spam melee lings? Usually you make a big round of overlords before you're about to do stuff with units. Because he doesn't have that many workers. He's got 40. So 40 workers, he makes 3 overlords. And he's going for melee attack. 40 workers, this is like 415-ish, 410. And this is +1 melee that he's doing. He could do a queen plus melee ling attack, I guess. Still massing queens. Sixlings. He's making, yeah, he's making a few more drones. It's still pretty good supply management, even with the 3. I thought that that would have been too much, but his economy's ramping up now. He's making 3 queens at a time. It's 4 queens for an overlord. It's got a 5-minute lair. Ish. It's 5:07. Your times on this don't need to be exact. None of us are going to be droning and producing quite as perfectly as Reynor is. So they're more kind of rough guidelines for things. You think the queens are about to go for a walk? He has 10 of them. 10 queens and melee is about to be done. He's taking a second gas when he has how many? 59 workers? Yeah, he's not taking a second gas until 50. Or did he have these earlier? He just started mining from this. Okay. He's got a Bane nest. Zest has nothing in the production tab. Is he about to Zealot Void Ray all in? Yeah. Okay. He didn't really scout too much. As an emergency response, he made spines behind the mineral line, which is nice. He doesn't have the ability to make roaches or anything, so emergency spines are a pretty fair call here. I didn't see this game when it was live, so I don't know if he defends this or not. And Spore is helping out. I think he's dead, fam. He's second dead. Rip. Thank you, Xeon. Appreciate that. He goes melee here to counter the Phoenix build Zest did. Yeah, I mean, melee is just good in general, too, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a mind game. He didn't scout the gases here. My guess is that these gases were not taken. Correct. How many probes are at this base? This is a Bamboozle Nexus. Zest has 39. Oh my god. Ugh, this kind of build is rustling of the Jim Jams. Okay, so what could he have scouted here? He was pretty passive. Talking about Reynor. What was he doing with his lings? He's running around. He has a ling here. It's killed. He sees a prism. But he doesn't scout this. This would be a dead giveaway. If he just sent 4 lings over to this base, you instantly know it's an all-in. And let's say, what would you do? The Bane Nest is quite late for this. This is definitely going to be destroyed. So let's say you saw this. You scouted at what time? 5:30. 5:30, let's just write this in. Man, this pen is almost out of ink. Or something. Shit, okay. 5:30. Scout third. Saturation. Prepare for all in. So all of the minerals in this hatch become spines. All the queens get pulled to the front. The spore gets pulled forward. This spore gets pulled forward. This spore probably like here or something. And then you just want to make Massling Bane. Maybe a couple overlords. But he's got a lot of drones. It would still be a tough hold with this many drones. But I think it's doable if you scout this a little bit earlier. You think the Warp Prism is a dead giveaway given the pro level? It could be. You could also maybe do like a weak glaive pressure with this. At a low level of play, you can't really read too much into this, but yeah, at the pro level, for the Prism to be hitting a timing this soon, after 2 Void Rays, you definitely know that it's not double Stargate Void Ray, because there's not enough money to do all of this, and then also have a second Stargate. He's just on 1 base of gas. Nice play. Well done, Zest. Definitely a bamboozle win. So game 2, how does Reynor adjust to this? Because he, let's just be honest, he heckin' didn't scout at all. He scouted that there was a third and that was it. Earlier Bane Nest would have made him safer, definitely. Is he gonna send the worker down at 145 again? Yep, same thing. And then he goes and he takes the triangle third. Interesting. This one is closer. So against adept builds, it's easier to defend your drones and stuff. Against Void Rays, it's kind of annoying if they like go back and forth in this area. You could go half and half. Half your queens are here, half your queens are there, with some spores to support. This base is far away as fuck. So a lot of Protoss will pro block this base, and then they'll do an annoying glaive adept all in. And it's really hard to defend all your workers. So he's going for the triangle third on Lightshade. After getting pro blocked. Hatch gas pool. Hearthstone has a detailed video about how that build was from Zest. And how he confused Reynor. If you want to link it, you can. I'm all about promoting good Starcraft content. Hearthstone is awesome, dude. Okay, we're supply blocked right now. So you have an Overlord about done? Kind of. He's against Stalker, so he can't fly the Overlord in and get as much info. He's got another Overlord coming out. Oracle is assisting the Stalker in killing this. Taking a spore right away. Right away. About 340. When did he take this blind spore in the main? Because he saw that it was a Stalker opening, but he did not see that it was a Stargate until the Oracle was already out. So this seemed like an extra safe spore. Damn, dude. Before 3:30. Whew. That's really early. This spore timing, I feel like, is to be safe against proxy oracle coming from this way. Or from here or something. I don't think he would need it this early if it was an in-base. But he's blind, and this stalker is preventing this overlord from getting in there, so... Yeah, he's got a 330 heckin' 330 spore in the main. He doesn't need one at the third as early because he has 2 queens down there. He's using his lings to break the rocks. Pretty cool. He could scout for the third timing, but I guess he understands what's going on after seeing an oracle. There is a third nexus going down, we can see in the production tab. Getting his queens in position, pulling the drones away. Making 3 overlords. When did he make those 3 overlords at 40 drones? Is this a pattern? Hang on. It's nice when you see a common theme. Did he make 3 overlords at 40 drones again? He's got 40 drones, 52 supply. Two queens. 1 overlord. 44. Yeah, kind of. 44-ish. You could just make 2 overlords at 40 drones. I feel like that would be fine. Starcraft player looks like a musician, thank you. Queens are spreading creep. Gets a lair. Ooh, interesting. Oracle pickup. It's really getting that creep going. Oh god, it's adepts. It's 5. He's making 10 lings. Trying to get the queens in position. Pull the drones away right away. He's trying to do some heckin' defense. Loses 5. Eh. What's best position for spores that is penned from oracles and libs? Those are different units, so it's actually different positions. Against libs, I like putting them here in the main, here at the natural, and then maybe here at the third. Against oracles, he's got them in the correct spots. You want them in the mineral line if it's oracle, you usually want them behind the mineral line if it's void ray. Who's waiting for the overlords? Might as well prioritize making the spore. We have to wait anyway. Maybe the spore came early by a few seconds because of the timing of the supply block. Could be. It was around the ballpark of the time you would want to spore anyway. So probably not the kind of play that's gonna make or break your own ZVP. But yeah, it's definitely something you can do. You should have an awareness of the different expenditures that you can invest in that don't require supply. Upgrades would be one of those. Like if you're supply blocked, you could take Overlord Speed and Burrow. That's 200 minerals, 200 gas right there. Spores don't take supplies, spines, etc. Taking a base. So he's running up really fast. He's going for range attack, roach speed on this map. And Zest is going ground. Charge +1, 5 gateways, robo. He scouts at 6:30. He sees gas, adepts, and sentries. He's making 11 roaches. Reynor has 73 workers. This map has a lot of rocks on it. That might be why he's not going just Ling Bane. Roaches are better at breaking rocks. Ravagers are good at breaking force fields. Scouts with an overseer in the main. Inject the bases. Taking a 4th base. Making some Ravagers. Why does Zest already have an Archon? Because Archons are handsome units. How you doing, Snake? One cannot discern the infinity of thoughts that is Zest's strategic mind. Infestation Pit. Is this Roach Ravager and a Lurker? I feel like that's the best unit that he could make with that. Or Roach Ravager Swarm Host. That was a style that was pretty popular for a hot minute. Overseer scouting. He's got a Roach Scout of one of the 4th base locations. That's actually a good thing to write down. 8 minutes, he has vision of both 4th base locations. Protoss players in the chat, when do you take your 4th base? YouTube people in the comments, when do you take your 4th base? If you're Protoss. Check 4th base locations. Thanks, Reynor. Reynor loves lurkers. Heck yeah. For an SC noob, I appreciate the analysis. You're welcome. Appreciate the support. I feel like an SC noob as well. Next to this level of play. He's going Hive. Very fast Hive. And Spines. And he's splitting up his army to multiple locations. He still has vision of those 4th base locations. +2 ranged, Hydroden. Unit composition is 75 drones, 6 queens, so lower queen count than the Void Ray game. 40 roaches, 9 ravagers. And he's adding in spines. Because Roach Ravager is kind of crappy in a max out. So that's the way to just anchor it. And Zest is doing a really heavy 2-prong kind of all in. He's taking a 4th behind this, but it's a pretty late 4th. He's pulling the drones away, giving up that location and fighting for this one. Can he hold? He's still got a lot of supply. He's taking heavy damage though, making 14 roaches. +2 is about halfway done. He didn't lose that many drones because he pulled them over to his 4th base. Yeah, he's got the hold. That was really all in from Zest. He doesn't have the money to remax. So he does have a 4th, kind of. It's not even done yet. So I think Reynor can just push back and kill him. How many probes did he have? 64, yeah. Did he have the gases at the 3rd? He did. Okay. But the main is partially mined out at this point. So he had main base 8 out of 8 double gas. Natural 16 out of 16 for minerals double gas. And 3rd base 14 out of 16 double gas. So not even a fully saturated 3 base setup. So for Reynor to defend that was pretty badass. I think the spines helped a lot. That may have been the difference in being able to live. Because the thing with the spines being back here is he can fall back, and these add a lot of DPS against zealots. They're not going to be right up at the front, which also means they're less likely to get blapped by immortals. Immortals can kill these in 2 hits or something, but they're pretty decent for chipping away at zealots. So the overall game flow, he didn't really get into his tech units. This was kind of a Roach Ravager as a way to not die scenario. And he didn't die. And now he's pushing in to win. GG. Nice one. You have to have tons of gas for Archons? Yeah. So he didn't cut any of his gas mining. He had 3 bases of gas, but he did cut his mineral mining. How did Reynor know what this was so quickly? Just the 4th base timing? Yeah, he checked the 4th base locations at 8 minutes. And for Zest's level of play, I would think he would take a 4th base much earlier than that. That was a fun game to watch live. Yeah, that was a really intense push from Zest. Very committed. So he wouldn't have known exactly what the unit composition was. He would just know that Zest is very committed on mortally wounding him or killing him with that push. Welcome to the chat room. Did the chat reset? Okay. Death Aura. What does he do this time? 145, send the worker down. Goes past the probe. Takes a 3rd. It's an unnatural expansion. Take a 3rd around 445. This map is so hard versus Protoss for you. It's hard versus Protoss for I think every Zerg because they get... It kind of feels like 4 bases for free. Because this base... Attacking uphill sucks, and they usually put a bunch of buildings here, or static defense. So attacking uphill into static defense is really bad. And this is pretty narrow, so they can just put a couple gateways here and wall this off. This is a very narrow and steep ramp. So these 4 bases Protoss gets to defend very, very comfortably. Yeah, that makes it pretty tough. And they can get up their high Templar count really high off 4 bases and start to work on carriers too. So they can get a lot of stuff without really getting hassled too much. There's a weakness to the up ramp base. What? Dropping it? Void Rays make drop play pretty tough. And this is a really common map for Void Rays. Getting Ling speed. He pulled 2 off gas, same as usual. .32 supply, taking the base. Inject creep. Lings are looking around for the probe. Getting Overlord speed. He canceled Ling speed and went Overlord speed. Whoa. Whoa, dude. Was he placing a bet that Zest won't send 2 adepts early? Now he's getting Ling speed after. Back in GM? Yeah. I was in GM before, but my commentary account has been struggling. But the tryhard games today went well. I went up about 100 MMR. Okay, he's going for his Overlord Speed Scout. Sees a Void Ray. Tries to fly away. Making queens and drones. Queens and drones. Larva into drones. Excess minerals into queens. Ling speed after the Overlord speed. He's getting heckin' scouted, fam. Oracle zooms in. You can't explain that. It's Void Ray now. Second Stargate. Is this the amazing double Stargate Void Ray strategy? Ba, 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 ba. Wow. He's going lair. Overlord speed, Ling speed, lair. Just take this as a gas progression. For Death Aura. Did I just paper cut myself? It's pretty badass. Okay. Overlord speed. Ling speed. Lair. He scouts the third. He's taking gases and stuff. Queens. +1 range, Roach Warren. Roach Warren. +1 ranged. Filling the gases. Queens are running around. Takes a fourth base. He's not taking the line fourth. This is the key scout seeing second Stargate. Should we take note of what time that was? Ba, 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 ba. 5 minutes. 5-minute Overlord directly into the natural. He heckin' scouted. And he found it. He found this Stargate making stuff. And this Stargate already existed? Or was this the first one? Ah, yeah. He already scouted this one with the first scout. That's pretty baller. So the first Overlord scout, whenever Overlord speed finished, was one Overlord went this way, saw a Void Ray, and flew away. The other Overlord zoomed up this way into the main. So he already saw some of the tech in the main, and he wanted to see some of the tech in the natural, and he heckin' got it. Good job, Reynor. Filling the gas. Taking some gas. Drones for days. Those queens are hoping for an oracle to fly into them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's going 550 infestation pit? Wow. 550 infestation pit, ladies and gentlemen. Is this a lurker timing? Is this lurkers? Lurkers. That's how you pronounce it. Ling's patrolling. He has not scouted the third or fourth base locations. If it's double Stargate, you can kind of assume that they have those. Because it doesn't really work as a 2-base all-in. You just have more minerals. The 2 Stargates eat up most of your gas. Zest has how many voids? 6. And Reynor has how many queens? 9. Whew, that is a fast hive. When did you get that hive? As soon as the infestation pit was done? Oh, geez Louise. Yep. Basically 640-ish. He's taking his Hydroden kind of late though. Maybe it's just because the hive takes a long time. 71 seconds. Then he gets a Hydroden. 10 seconds after hive. This might be a good timing to practice. I think it's going to go for a Lurker Queen attack. And then he'll go Lurker Den as soon as this is done. Guess is at the 4th. How many workers does he have? 81 drones versus 68 probes. Plus 2 range attack right away. Hydro Den is done. Are we gonna see a fast Lurker Den? Oh, denied. Overseer Scout, 730. Beautiful. Sees everything, including Storm. Gets the Lurker Den. Nice Scout. 730 Scout. Overseer style. Say Overseer Scout plus Lurker Den. Does anyone know why his hive is finishing well before the Lurker Den? Is that a I want to have Vipers possible thing? It's getting Hydra's speed before range. Queens are in position to deal with the Prism. It's continuing to scout. Around 8:30. It was the first time he did the build. It's a Lambo build that he just YOLO'd. Lol. Reynor had the YouTube video of Lambo's video guide like in the background while he was having dinner one night, but he was just half paying attention. And he's in the grand finals of the World Championships and he's like, yeah, I think this is how it went. He just goes for it. His mechanics are that good. First try of a build. He's got a lot of those buddies. He's going Lurker range before burrow speed. Oh! Oh, you can't catch those out, I guess. The rest of the army's there. Queen's transfused for days. This makes me happy to watch this. My Zerg bias is showing. Lurker burrow speed, plus 3 range attack. Get the cheeky 9-minute 30 roach speed. That prism is still up there. I see it on the minimap. He's got a big mineral bank lead. There's a carrier being made. Queen's to tank storms. Queens just tank pretty much everything. They transfuse the lurkers, which is huge. And they trade well with interceptors. Some roaches defend zealots. Oh, cool. He's got a spore anchor back there that he can gradually move up. Zest is second dead, fam. He's got his 5th base up. Still got transfuses. Damn, dude. Brutal. GG. Wow. You definitely need disruptors as Protoss versus that. Yeah. So this kind of push is going to be especially effective versus a carrier transition. There are some Protosses, like Snake is mentioning in the chat. If they went for disruptors and later carriers, this wouldn't look as pretty because they're going to be Purification Novas and stuff going in. It's still a good push. But you may not kill them with it. You might need to go into like Vipers or something. But since it was Immortal, High Templar, Archon, Carrier, Queen Lurker, Hydra is gonna be really good against it. Nice. When did it hit? 9 minutes? I mean, he was heckin' dead at 11 minutes, so... Yeah, probably 9:30-ish. Submarine, what do you do? Started early today. I hope it was a productive day. Dude, today has been... It's been a good day. I woke up at 6:34 a.m. And then I went for my run. But I had a backpack with me because I needed to get supplies for the next nice meme video that I'm making. Neurofit beverage tier list. Taste testing and looking at ingredients and talking about how healthy or unhealthy various drinks are. Just as a conversation kind of piece for YouTube and Twitch. Do you want to see the beverages? This is a non-alcoholic version. Here. Give you a sneak peek preview. This is what we've got right here. Kaboom. Have you had any of these beverages before? Some of you may have, others may not. But there are several here, and you get to see some. Are we still on this, or have we gone back in time? No, Moss just showed up and was wondering why I was awake so early in the morning. Working on stuff. You've heard of Gatorade? Me too. Okay, Reynor versus Zest Submarine. What is he doing? You prefer naked drinks? That's TOS. Can't do that. Mercy is certainly a tall glass of water. I don't disagree. Okay, he's going pool first? What? What is this? He's totally selling that it's cheese, right? What is this? The probe is like, where? What? Where's the... That's funny. What isn't TOS these days on Twitch? Spamming advertisements. It's got 2 links going. I want to see what pool timing this was. I got a little bit distracted. 16 pool? Yep. 16 pool. Sends a drone out. I think this drone may have gone out at the same time as That's such a funny mind game. So he sent this drone down at the same time as you would with 145 minerals to take your hatch first. And then he went over to the third base to pretend that he was going to go hatch first over here. But he actually just hid the drone over here, which came back over here because he went 16 pool. This is some galaxy brain shit. I don't even understand the half of it. But that was a play. How do you capitalize? Like, is that good? He got to take this base, which is something. And Submarine is a really short rush map. So you mind game the hatch first. That gets blocked, but you actually had a pool the whole time. And then he's getting his Overlord Queen gas. And he's got lings. He has to make a Zealot. This is funny. He's got an Adept chrono boosted out now. Man, Zest is... Oh, he's scared. The Zealot is out. but Reynor is in the base. He's got 2 lings here. He just split them off into different control groups. He scouts up here. What does he see? He sees a bunch of mining time lost. That's a good read. He wants to get that probe. Oh, he got surrounded. Zest is good at video games. He's making queens. He's got ling speed, pulled off gas. 30 overlord. He's making more lings to deal with 2 adept shade. It's Twilight Council. He scouts it. There's a stalker that wants to kill that overlord. Takes his 3rd. 2 queens. Got his 3rd queen. Oh no! Oh, I thought they would have killed the tumor. He's a mechanics god. He says he doesn't play that much. He thinks it over and tests it. One of my favorite things ever is pro players who've played hundreds of thousands of Starcraft matches and they win tournaments and they say, yeah, I don't really practice. It's like, it's one of my favorite memes ever. Stefano was one of the first kings of that. Championship. Yeah, I don't really play Starcraft. It just makes you look like a badass. Kind of. Just trying to make their opponents feel dumb. Is it working? He's scattering around with lings. He's got a 2nd gas. Roach Warren pretty early. It is submarine. Still making queens. He does not see a 3rd from Zest yet, and it's 4:30. I would think that a 3rd would be earlier than this, but maybe Zest is worried about an all-in. He's going Dark Shrine. 1 spore per base at 440. Sees a prism. Got spores. Those are definitely versus DT spore placement. It's not Oracle. He did see the Twilight. According to his interview with Harston, he plays 3 hours tops. I only play for like 5 minutes at a time. One time I logged into Starcraft and I just played like a 2-minute game and I was like, I don't need to practice. So then I went and played WoW instead. Sometimes I just open the game client and then I close it again. And I just think about strats. Roach speed, range attack. Pretty solid defense. 3rd base is going down. I feel like Reynor is slightly ahead. Just by virtue of getting a pretty big reaction and not really taking much damage. His tech is low. That's what you sacrifice with the pool first and some aggression, but it's submarine, so you can't really get high tech too fast anyway. You have a cybernetic implant that's passively running the game throughout the day, so you don't even have to think about it anymore. I have that one, but I also have a cybernetic implant that tells other people that I have one that runs Starcraft, so I don't have to tell them anymore. He's got 5 gas. How many drones? 63. Zest has 46. This is an all-in. Oh god. Survive, Reynor. Roach Ravager defense. It saved him multiple games. So just to break down the maps a little bit, he went for Roach Ravager on Lightshade and Submarine, which I'm kind of thinking of this as maps with lots of rocks and or short rush. Roach Rav. Maps with rocks. And what else? Short rush. So if I just list off the maps, he didn't do that on Oxide, but he died to Zealots, so maybe he should have. So let's just put Oxide and Lightshade and Submarine. On Death Aura, he went for the Lurker Queen push. He's got this, fam. He's got enough. The Queen Roach Ravager is mighty indeed. Reynor is so good at the game, he makes CVP look like a balanced matchup. Pretty cool. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Spread and creep, making Ravagers. Death Aura is pretty hard to bust with Roach Ravager. Yeah, it's because of the uphill shit. Oh, what is he gonna contaminate? I know that feeling. This feeling when you go into a base and you've got 2 overseers and you're like, I'm gonna contaminate some shit, and nothing is producing. There's no forge with an upgrade. There's nothing on this. The gateways aren't even doing shit. There's nothing on this, and you're just kind of like, well, this is an ability. Contaminate. They can't train units or research upgrades for 21 seconds, but if they weren't doing that before, well, you could just hit gateways. Impacts the warp it a little bit. He's got this though. He's ahead and Zest just doesn't make more probes. Is Zest really supply block? Reynor with the 3-prong attack. Roaches in the third, Lings in the main, Roach Rav and the Gnat. Infestation Pit. He's got way too much of a supply lead. Good job, dude. 41 probes. How did Samurai go? Went well. For having a week off, going up 100 MMR. Feels pretty good. I died to Protoss a lot, but I'm studying Protoss now with Reynor versus Zest, so it's good. That is a strong army. Does he even have upgrades? Hang on. He doesn't even have upgrades. This Immortal has 19 kills, though. This Archon has 12. GG. Well played. Yeah, Roach Ravager seems to be the way on a short map or a map with a heck ton of rocks. So that's game 4. The series seemed a bit one-sided. It seemed like Reynor has his telephone number for some of this one. The first match, Zest got him good. With a nice bamboozle mind game. ZVP, it's one-sided, whoever wins. Yeah, ZVT feels like a mechanics boxing match. where it has a lot of back and forth, a lot of drops and counterattacks and run by and that kind of thing. ZVP, I've always felt like it's fighting a magician, and they've got a bag that has something dangerous in it. It could be a knife, it could be a machine gun, it could be a laser beam. You don't know what it is, and they're trying to hide whatever's in that from you. He's going for the Overlord speed build. So we did the Overlord speed build on Death Aura and on Romanticide. So Ov speed, Ling speed, Lair. On which maps? Death Aura and Romanticide. Slow it down, fam. Let's be honest, inside the bag is a Void Ray. Not just one Void Ray, 2 Stargate Void Ray. I'm glad we can be honest together. He's droning up. Doing the normal stuff. Connecting the bases with creep. Getting a lair. I think you already got Ling speed. Oh, he didn't get Ling speed until after lair. Huh. Cool. What are you gonna do with the fast lair? Fast Overseer to contaminate. Fake Stargate and a proxy DT. Ooh. It's kind of like the build that Zest did in game 1, where they just go for 1 or 2 Stargate units and then they all in you with Zealots. It's a pretty strong play. Very annoying to lose to. Whenever I lose to a Terran player, normally I feel like they were just too fast. If I'm facing a Bio-Terran. If I'm facing a Protoss and I lose, usually I feel dumb. Because I just can't deal with their puzzle that they present to me. With ZVT, it's like they're punching me left and right, and it's whether or not I can keep up with the punches. Because you see Protoss, they have their Void Rays and their High Templar, and they're just sitting at home. And then they just go kill you, and you're like... I don't know what I'm doing. You face a Terran, they drop your 4th, they drop your main, they do a Hellion run by, they have a Liberator going in that base, and you're like... Protoss makes 8 carriers. You die. Well... This is a matchup. ZVZ is 2 muggers trying to stab each other. Yeah. 2 pickpockets on the street. Just trying to... Someone tries to pick the other's pocket, but he's a pickpocket, and he's like, hey. Spider-Man meme. So he's doing the Roach Ravager stuff. 12 queens. Is this single Stargate? Because he's only got 4 Void Rays. Normally he would have 6 or more by now, right? Production. Everyone's vision. Single Stargate there? Oh no, it's 2 Stargates. He didn't really invest that heavily into it. I wonder what that decision is like for Protoss. Like, how do you decide? Okay, this time I'm not going for 6 to 8 Void Rays. I'm going to go into ground faster. He could hit a timing. I think it's a mind game. The new meta is stopping at 4. The Protoss opponents that I faced today didn't do that, but it's pretty important. This is like a broad concept thing. Mind games don't work on a player who doesn't know how to make a read. So maybe you show something. Some players, they see that and they don't even think about anything. They're like, okay, that's a unit. And they don't react to it. So if you try to like show them something and then go a different direction, it's not necessarily going to work. Mind games are going to work the best against players who are going to be going into a matchup trying to adjust to what you're doing. But if they have some like simple plan they're going to follow, like I'm going to do a Roach Ravager attack. You show them something, they don't care. They're going to go for a Roach Ravager attack. You could make any army and it doesn't matter. Or they don't see it at all. Yeah. They're not guaranteed to look at it. So he's maxed out with some Roach Ravager. Getting his Lurker Den, getting his +2. He's doing the Hive thing. Overseer. He gets to contaminate on the upgrade. Yup. "13 lurkers at a time. Pretty nice. He's putting up spine walls before he pushes. This is a theme with his lurker build. Whenever he's going for pretty fast hive and lurkers, he anchors his base with spines. That's cool. That keeps him safe against like 60 probe all-ins. And it gives him something to say about these kind of zealot run by. Pretty common for Protoss to try and backstab whenever you move out. And he kept how many roaches? He's got 15 roaches on a hotkey while he's doing this push. Carriers are coming out. I feel like disruptors would be good against this. But he doesn't have robo-based stuff. Roaches are hitting there. Queens are killing the interceptors as they're coming out. His +3 is about halfway done. Getting a Spire behind this for a Corruptor switch later on if he wants to. I guess you don't need disruptors. Oh. He's making Hydras, Roaches, Lings, cancels the Spire. Not the most effective push of all time. He is able to remax, but he has no bank now. His +3 is going. He doesn't know if there's a 5th. He killed a 5th. There could have been one taken behind that. So this push has few lurkers and a lot of Hydras, which means he should be able to shave off the interceptors a bit better. He keeps pulling back and splitting his Hydras, which is good. slam dunk a transfuse on a lurker? No. Now Chihuahua. Got all that blood on the floor. Sad. Okay, so there was a 5th base taken at the end. Right? Yep, he took this at the end. So this is +2 attack ground. The carriers have +1 attack. Cool. So it just seemed like he wasn't really ahead. It was kind of an even game. And if you attack hard into your opponent in a perfectly even game, then they have defender's advantage, which is shield battery cannon. And storms are a lot better on your side of the map. Are these carriers empty? This was really close. Units tab. He only has 5 interceptors. So I feel like he almost had it. That's really close. He almost got his spore anchor up. Sea of Whiskey with the 4-year badge. Very nice, dude. Thank you, Saya. Does Protoss have the best applications of Defender's Advantage? Does the Nexus have more health than any of the other Town Hall structures? Or does a Hive have a lot? All right, game 7 or game 6? Game 6. Reynor is up 3-2. What do you do? Do you send the drone down? 145? Yep. Goes right to the 3rd right away. I feel like whenever a Protoss should be punished for mistake and being greedy, the shield battery makes it possible to survive when they shouldn't. Who here remembers a unit called the Mothership Corps? Raise your hand. Was there anyone who liked that unit? I thought it was alright. I think it was more annoying against Terran because you could do the pylon at their ramp and then overcharge them. But for a Zerg, it wasn't as annoying, I don't think. You take Mothership Core over Battery and Nexus Recall any day? Yeah, I think so. Because that was a simpler time in terms of cannon rushes. The shield battery made like 69 additional cannon rush styles exist that didn't exist before. It was just simple photon cannons. With the shield battery, you can do Immortal, shield battery, cannon rush all-ins. You can do a Stalker one. Turkey Dano does one with Blink. He did the Overlord speed build. So I have the list of maps here. Death Aura, Romanticide, and Pillars, he did the Overlord speed build. They're a little bit longer rush and stuff, I guess. Denied. Oh my god! Double Stargate? Void Ray? Is he doing the only make 4 thing? No, he's making more. Twilight Forge. 2 more. More Void Rays? Chrono boost into probes. Reynor's going lair. So he did Overlord, Link Speed, lair. Oh, Overlord Speed, Link Speed, lair. That was the gas spending. Going for an Evo Chamber. He went for melee in game 1, and he's gone ranged every other game. Guess he learned his lesson. I lost with melee, so it's bad. Yeah, he's just doing 4 Void Rays. Que raro. How rare. People are saying this is the new mind game meta. In most of my games, people just make 8 or more. Two Stargate into Zealot all in. Nice, probing up. He's saturated 3 bases, 67 workers. And then he stopped making workers. Making gateways. Twilight Council, or Templar Archives. Is this a Roach Ravager defense game? He's got a Roach Warren. He's making roaches. But do you get the Roach speed? That's the question. He's got a few queens. 14 roaches. Queen count is 11. Not bad. It's a very zappy unit. Killed 3 drones. I feel like he's in a fine position. Not too much has happened yet. Players are macroing up. Nice Overseer Scout. He sees what's up. Also sees that the Stargates are not working. Overseer is 4.72 move speed. Void Rays without the speed upgrade are 3.85. So a speed Overseer with the pneumatized Carapace from Overlords is faster than Voids. Good job. Does anyone remember back when this first got its buff? And Day 9 was casting, or he was doing a daily or something on how fast these are, and he was so amazed. I remember. Thanks, Day 9. Zealots. Link's just checking. There's a 4th base. So this is this turtley style. Where you get Storm, and then you just sit. You sit with the Storm. Nice pickup. Is he going Roach Ravager Queen attack? Does this work? Oh? What is the tech behind this? Roach speed. He kept some roaches there. Oh no. Okay, he'll send those roaches over. Mass Queen. Mass Roach Ravager. Storm isn't that great against Ravagers because Ravagers are so heckin' big. This Storm hits like 2 units. No, it hits... I don't know, it hits like 9 units, but still. It hits fewer Ravagers than it would hit Hydras. So Ravager is not quite as hard countered by High Templar. Does he just kill him with this? Would this push work if he went for the 8 Void Rays or more? I feel like it wouldn't. He lost 13 workers. And he's been making more roaches behind it. So he's just going to keep hitting them. Yeah, he all-in. He didn't take any +1 range. He has no tech behind this. He didn't make any additional drones. This is a Zerg all-in. You could drone if you wanted to. But why would you when you can roach and win the championship? That's it. He's a champion. That Crosabile right there. Champion. Wow. I want to see the economy before he moved out. I think it was 74 drones. Oh my god, it was 74 drones. 11 queens, +1 range, and he just heckin' goes for it. Maxed out Roach Ravager queen attack. Look at the unit composition. Oh, 77. 12 queens, 14 ravagers, 25 roaches. Cool. Queens in the front, Roach Ravager behind. He's just got everything attacking through this lane. And he's got a 50 supply lead. Roaches to reinforce. Roaches try to defend the zealots. Nice. GG, Reynor. Made you feel like Blizzard want to nerf queens? I mean, queens have been nerfed 67 times, so it's a tradition. So that Zerg can never win again. There will never be, in my opinion, a more sad period than in the Legacy of the Void beta, when they had automated injects and you only got 2 larvae per inject. I just had this horrible feeling in my whole body every time I played the game. Ugh. You couldn't even build units, but at least you didn't have to inject. But then you realize you didn't do anything. You're just kind of watching the Zerg happen on your screen. But it's not good. It's not very much Zerg. Back in Heart of the Swarm, you used to get 4 larvae per inject. Nowadays you get 3. Ugh. It's all good. There's still plenty of stuff to work on. The games are exciting. I think the game is in a reasonably good place. So let's review these notes real quick. Learn some ZVP from Reynor. Reynor versus Zest, Grand Finals of IEM Katowice. So he's sending the drone to the natural at 145 minerals. If there's a probe, he's sending it over to the third. When he finishes his pool, he's making drones and then 4 lings. He's keeping his overlord at the natural wall. He took his spore pretty fast when there was a stalker in the wall, just to cover against a oracle. He's taking his third base at 32 supply. Third queen, 34 overlord, into 40 overlord, into 46 overlord, and all drone production there. The melee style, he took his evo at 340, got melee. He died to zealots, but if there was a bay nest, he may have been able to defend. Eight minutes, he's checking the 4th base locations. That helped him defend an all-in on Lightshade. Overlord speed, Ling speed, lair is one of his openings that he was going for multiple times. He gets an Overlord scout over the 3rd and the main at the same time with Overlord speed. And he's been going Roach Warren, +1 range attack most of the games. 5 minutes, he sent another follow-up scout into the natural, and he scouts the 2nd Stargate or whatever at that point. 550 infestation pit, 640 hive, 650 hydroden for his lurker queen attack. And he went for Roach Ravager composition on Oxide, Lightshade, Submarine, and Pillars. Death Aura, he did mainly just massing queens and some hydras and lings into the lurker attack. Romanticide, he also made some Roach Ravager. Pretty cool. I'm stoked to try out some of this stuff. I've been going Hydrabane Lurker. I haven't really made much Roach Ravager. And I haven't been doing these kind of all-in attacks either. So that's some cool stuff to try out. Hope y'all found this useful. Some student of Starcraft time with Neuro. Trying to learn some stuff. Hopefully you learned some stuff too. Also, congratulations, Reynor. Huge achievement winning the World Championship. I don't know if it had the same ring to it. You're winning IEM Katowice, but it's like he won BlizzCon because they didn't have the StarCraft finals hosted at BlizzCon. So he basically is a BlizzCon champion.